ready, and racing.
Welcome to the Dogcast for Greyhound Racing SA. Visit grsa.com.au.
Yes, welcome to the Dogcast, brought to us by Greyhound Racing SA. I'm your host, Tim Edwards, and joined by Greyhound Racing SA's racing manager, as per normal, Shaun Mathieson. Shaun, great to have you here.
Yeah, great to be here again, Tim. We're right in the middle of a lot of our feature races in Greyhound Racing in SA. A really good time to be involved, so looking forward to another big show today.
Yeah, looking forward to it. There's been plenty happen. Of course, we're going to preview the 2021 Shane McQueen final at Murray Bridge Thursday night. It's normally at Angle Park, but as we know, the redevelopment happening there. We're going to also look back at the Group 3 Howard Ashton final, won by Victor Hayden, and we're also going to have a look back at the heats of the Shane McQueen. And our interview this week is with Michael Stewart. Looking forward to catching up with Mick. He's a very passionate man, and looking forward to chatting to him on this week's edition of the Dogcast. That's all coming up on this week's edition of the Dogcast.
The Week in Review.
The Week in Review, as always, brought to us by Fresh Pet Food Co., proud suppliers of fresh pet food for our GAP SA Greyhounds and the GAP prison programs. They're based right here in South Australia. If you want to know more about them, log on to Fresh Pet Food Co., all one word, .com.au for more information. So we turn our attention back, Shaun. Of course, we had a couple of big weeks. Let's go, I think, and turn our attention back to the Howard Ashton, which was a Group 3 event. It was an interesting race, messy, I think you can fair to say. Yep. I was calling the event. Victor Hayden was the eventual winner, defeating Victor Grosso. Jackswell, well, he probably should have won. And Fire Strike, who we thought would probably win or be one of the top two, he did not handle box one whatsoever, did he, from box one? He just wanted to go right hand on that first corner.
You know, interestingly, we spoke with Bosco on the show, and he said if he had any box, he'd choose box one. Yeah. As it turned out, it wasn't really a blessing for Fire Strike. As you say, he didn't take the corner at all at Gawler, caused interference to a lot of the runners. And Victor Hayden, who actually went up with the lids at the start, walked out, got a beautiful run through and then proved too strong. But the overall time, 31.10, Tim, you normally expect in those sort of feature races a 30.7. He gets the job done. 31.10 probably highlights the interference, and pretty much we did talk that the field itself was so good, and a lot of these dogs will go on. Everything in the race probably didn't have much luck other than the winner, to be honest, because everyone else found a little bit of trouble. Full honours, mind you, to Victor Hayden. You've still got to win them. Yep. And he was able to get the job done.
Yeah, Jackswell, he copped a massive check on that first corner when Fire Strike ran out. And then he was progressing as well on the first corner. He got around that corner, he lobbed in third. He was about to move up, and he seemed to cop another check, which moved him back to about midfield, and then he flashed home again to run third. So, look, all credit to the Rasmussens with Victor Hayden and Victor Grosso, but there's no doubt about it, Jackswell should have won. But he was beaten. He's a good dog. He fronts up again Thursday night. And, of course, Fire Strike, I think we wait for him to draw an outside box now. He certainly didn't handle the inside.
I think so. He's still probably a young dog, and Bosco and Christine have only had him, for a few runs. I think they take a bit of time to work him out. Obviously, endless amounts of ability there. And as I said, a lot of the dogs in that field follow without hesitation. We saw Victor Reid come out and win recently at Gawler. He was unlucky when he got a run from reserve. Bedrock Fred's gone up to Queensland, so we'll see him in the coming weeks in Queensland. So a lot of these dogs are really worth following, and a lot of them will turn up in a few weeks' time in the Gawler Produce Series. Yes. So a lot of them will do battle again. So that's going to be another exciting series in the weeks to come. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was the Howard Ashton. Of course, we've got the Shane McQueen final Thursday night. Let's look back at the heats last week. Aussie Cheggier's form continues at the moment, Shaun.
Well, Tim, you coined Murray Bridge, Troy Murray Bridge. Yeah. Are we going to have to find a word for Aussie Cheggier, because he's loving it?
He is.
Not to mention Dave Peckham, but we'll just highlight Aussie Cheggier at the moment. He's having a wonderful run at the bridge, and with a small team, as we've spoken to him on the show, a wonderful run with his greyhounds.
I think he said he had 6 runners in the kennel at the moment, Aussie, and he had He had 4 winners about a month ago there on one night, and then he had 3 winners the other night. So his team's flying. He had fantastic shell run, the best time, winning 29.81 in one of the heats there of the Shane McQueen. Defeating Rhyme Nor Reason and Jack Swirl. He was a bit off, I reckon, that night. He copped another check, but He certainly didn't go as good as what he did at Gawler, but obviously we're not writing him off because we don't do that here on the Dogcast.
We've never done that, Tim.
No. So what did you make of Fantastic Shell's win?
Impressive. Bounced to the front. We know the dog can run time and produce that 29.81. Rhyme No Reason's been going good for the Harrises. I wouldn't be too disappointed with Jackswell. I mean, that's him. He copped another bump.
Yeah.
He did run home okay. Box 2 didn't suit, and that was his first run back at the bridge after campaigning at Gawler. In the final, when we talk about the final, he goes to box 8. He does love a wider draw. I wasn't too disappointed with him. I absolutely think he's a main player in the final.
Yep.
He did a good job to qualify, and ultimately in these high-quality heats, you've just got to get into the final first.
Yep. So he'll improve, no doubt, Jackswell. Drawing where he has as well in the final will help. Heat number 2 was won by Zipping Sultan. He continues to race well for Kenny Gill. Ken's a bit excited about these zipping dogs. I had a chat to him at Murray Bridge the other week, and I got the feeling he was sort of ready to step back a bit, Ken, but now that he's got these 2 greyhounds that are going really well, I think he's got a new leaf of life, I guess you could say. Zipping Sultan winning, running 30.01. Fantastic Pippa for Aussie Cheggy running second. And Gary's Miracle ran third. We're going to talk to Mick Stewart a bit later on, but Zipping Sultan's doing everything he needs to do right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Not putting a foot wrong. A very professional greyhound. Missed it slightly from box 2, but really charged through to hit the lead shortly after and then held on really well. Fantastic Pippa again, Aussie Cheggy as greyhounds. They're all going very well. And Gary's Miracle did a good job to run third. Very consistent greyhound, which we've spoken about on the show.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, wasn't good enough to qualify for the final. First reserve in the final. And if Gary's Miracle got a run in the final, we know it's a main player. But again, it highlights the strength of these races. And one dog I got to highlight in that heat, Bomb Proof for the Rasmussens. That was its first run for them. Really impressive run. It showed good mid-race, copped a big check, still ran fourth, running home. It's in on Thursday night in a strong 5:30 metre race, but look for it over the future. Could be a real good stayer.
Okay. And Rush has won the third heat, 29.87 for him. He's back in town. Of course, he's starting to string some good form together now. Max Voltage ran second and Zipping Benson ran third. He's always a chance in these races, Shaun, because he doesn't have to lead to win because he is quite strong.
Absolutely. And he got a good run through. And once he got to second mid-race on the back of Max Voltage, he was always going to be hard to hold out. We know the ability that Rushes has had, and when he puts it all together, there's not too many dogs that can run home more powerfully than him. Again, box 8 suited to him. He's in a middle draw again in the final, which again we'll talk about, which he'll need a slight bit of luck, but that's the way he races. He needs that touch of luck early, get himself a position, super strong, very impressive performance. Max Voltage, a bit unlucky not to hang on. I thought it led, did everything right, ran good time, but Rushes was too good. And, of course, Zipping Benson, the other Ken Gill runner, qualifying for the final in third. I mean, it did highlight, Tim, the strength of the heats, the final we've got.
Certainly did. And we see Sir Truculent line up in Queensland this time on Thursday night in the Super Stayers.
Yeah, we will. The fields, I think, were delayed. So as we go to air, I'm not sure if they're out yet. They were meant to be out yesterday, but they might have had an extension or that. But, yeah, he's up there in Queensland. He loves the sun on his back up there. And he's with Tony Brett up there. So Wally sent him up there, and they had good success. I reckon they won a feature race up there a few months ago in the care of Tony Brett. So the truck, he loves going around every Thursday night, so we'll hopefully see him on Thursday.
Yep, we'll look forward to watching that on Thursday night. That's been the preview. That's or I should say the review. That's brought to us by Fresh Pet Food Co. All one word.com.au. Look for them more online. Type in their address there, freshpetfoodco.com.au for more information.
The preview.
All right, a big night Thursday night. It is the Shane McQueen final. Before we touch on the Shane McQueen final, Shaun, tell us a bit about the Shane McQueen race. It's been around a long time now, and obviously named after a very important person.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane McQueen was the CEO for Greyhound Racing SA, and unfortunately passed away early 2001. This race has been going for almost 2 decades. It's been extremely well supported by the participants, and I think it's a reflection on Shane himself. He came to South Australia from Western Australia. He was an exceptional administrator in WA before getting to SA, took on the role as CEO, and really took Greyhound Racing SA into a different category of professionalism, I think, under his guidance and the support of the board that he had. I think Bob Kennedy was the chairman of the board. And together they really set Greyhound Racing SA on a good path to see where we are today, I think. McQueen's Tavern obviously is named after him. His family were involved at the time working for us, and it's still great to see them getting to the race meeting. They'll be there Thursday night.
Brilliant.
They always support this event, and at Murray Bridge, I know they're looking forward to it being at a new venue. But it's and it's a race that is a lot of the trainers want to win. It's one sort of middle distance feature for the whole year. So he was a very good administrator. Unfortunately, taken away from this life far too soon.
Yes.
And he had a young family at the time. So they're all. Every time I see them every year, there's more and more of them growing, more kids, more grandkids, and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure Shane would be very proud, and really looking forward to the night on Thursday night.
All right, well, the Shane McQueen final is race number 8 on the program. Zipping Sultan's come up with box number 1, so Ken Gill will be pretty happy about that. Max Voltage has come up with 2 for Lauren Harris. Aussie Cheggy has got fantastic Pippa drawn the white. In the blue, box 4 rushes for Lisa Rasmussen. 5 fantastic shell for Aussie Cheggy is in the yellow. 6 in the green, Rhyme Nor Reason, Lauren Harris. 7 Zipping Benson, Ken Gill. And number 8 is Jackswell. He's got box number 8. That's no concern for him, for Cameron Butcher. Gary's Miracle, Bombproof, both reserved. So, fantastic race. Who are you tipping, Shaun?
Can I tip them all, Tim? But listen, again, we've just spoken about that on the show. What a wonderful final it is. Very fitting for the Shane McQueen final. I'm going to tip the Quinella. I'm going to tip Jackswell to run first or second with Fantastic Shell. So I think Jackswell will finish top 2. I don't want to leave him out. I think he's the strong winning preference, drawn perfectly, as I said. From the wide draw, it's going to suit him. Box 2 in the heats. He copped a pretty big bump. He did a good job to run on. He cost himself a number of lengths. He'd have been a lot closer to Fantastic Shell in the run home. The reason why I like Fantastic Shell for the Quinella is that I think she leads. Yep. I think from a middle draw, she can begin. She showed that last week. She had the fastest split and can hang on. She's very strong, and she's she holds the record over the 5:30 metres as well. So, I mean, she can run the time. I'll go Jackswell ahead of Fantastic Shell, and then I'd just put the field in for third.
Yeah,
if I was going, it's a wonderful race. How about you, Tim? How did you see it?
Look, I agree with you. Fantastic Shell's a good chance of leading. I think Zipping Benson has been beginning really well. I think he's a good chance of pushing over, and he might just pave the way for Jackswell to get a better run over on Thursday night. So I'm going to be tipping Jackswell. I think it might be a similar scenario to the Gawler feature that we had about a month ago where Zipping Sultan was run down by Jackswell. I think one of these two will be winning. I've got Jackswell slightly ahead of Zipping Sultan, who I'm giving a massive chance to. If something happens to Jackswell on that first corner, I think the Red's got a wonderful chance of winning. Fantastic Shell's going to be there. She certainly needs to go in everything. I think the dog that's ready to win, he's probably found a race that's probably too tough, is Rhyme Nor Reason. I think it's ready to win for Lauren Harris, but I think it can run a top 4 spot. So I'd probably be playing 8, 1, 5 and 6 there in the Shane McQueen final. 6,000 to the winner, Shaun. So good prize money. It's always a good race. And I think it's over the years it's been run over the 600, hasn't it, at Angle Park? Yeah,
it's normally run over the 600 metres. We've aligned the 530, if you like, a little bit to the 600 during the shutdown of Angle Park. So over the 530 again, we've been really pleasantly surprised by the support that we've got and such a high quality race. I think on the program, Tim, we've got in total we've got 4 530 metre races and a 680 metre on the whole program. So really thankful for the support of the participants for these sort of the sprint, middle and staying distances whilst Angle Park's been out of action.
Yeah. You were talking about Bombproof before. Is it your best bet in race 1?
Well, it's not my best bet. It's one to watch. It's a very strong race. Alfieri, Spring Vinny, Spofford.
Yes.
It's race 1 for a reason. It's a wonderful race, that race, so one to watch. Yep. My best bet, actually, Tim, is in the last.
Yeah.
So race 12, number 1, Sentinel McLaren. had its second run back from a break on Monday night. Copped a pretty decent check early. Was making good ground during the middle stages of the race and got up around fourth. It was an okay run. The trick with Sentinel McLaren, anytime he draws an inside box, I think he's very hard to beat. I think he's won 5 of 8.
Yeah.
Third run back, I think he'll be cherry ripe over the 4:55 at the Bridge in a Grade 6 event. So he'll be my best on the night. You'll have to wait all night, Tim, but I reckon he'll be my best.
All right, race 12, number 1 for you. It looks a difficult program. Obviously, there'll be a shorty there. Fantastic. Radley should be winning the 680 event, but... yeah, look, difficult program. I think at this early stage, I think Zipping Whoopie might be worth a play. Race 4, number 4. It has won there in good time in the past and finds a race where the other 4 competitors haven't been over that track and distance. So I thought Zipping Whoopie might be the way to play race 4, number 4. But looking forward to the night, as you said, race 1's a cracker. We see fantastic Radley, who's our, I guess you could say, premier stayer at the moment without the truck being here.
Well, he did take care of the truck a few weeks ago on its merits. Although truck, I never thought the truck was a good leader in his races.
No, I don't think so.
I think he's better sitting, third or fourth and coming from behind. But fantastic, Radley was supported that night and got the job done and won. So whilst the truck's away, absolutely fantastic. Radley's the premier stayer. Yeah,
it looks a terrific program there on Thursday night, the first of 12 races, 6:37 local time. That's been the preview. That's, of course, brought to us by the SA Greyhound Tips Twitter feed. On Twitter, get on board. And as always, gamble responsibly. Search @TheDogsSA.
The interview.
Yeah, the interview this week, we're going to be chatting to Michael Stewart, who's about to join us on the Dogcast. Of course, he's got Gary's Miracle, who's absolutely flying at the moment, and he can tell us a story about Gary's Miracle. How are you, Mick? Welcome to the Dogcast. You've got Tim Edwards and Shaun Mathieson here.
Good morning, Tim, and good morning, Shaun.
Good morning, Mick. How's it going there with you?
Yeah, good, mate. I'm at work and just driving my truck, but if you can hear me okay, that'd be good.
Yeah, we certainly can, Michael. Look, Mick, you've been a stalwart of the greyhound racing industry for a long time. I remember the early days of myself broadcasting. You were at the Strathalbyn Greyhound track, and you're up there, working your way through your craft. You've had some good dogs along the way, but it must be a big thrill to have a greyhound like Gary's Miracle doing what she's doing right now.
Yeah, mate, that's true. That's my grandfather. He trained dogs in Melbourne. Then my father trained dogs in Adelaide. His name was Mick Stewart, and my brother trained dogs in Terry Stewart. So we've been in them. Well, I've been holding dogs since I was 5 years old, and I'm 58. I used to go to Angle Park when I was 14 years old, and there's a trainer called Verna Henderson. I used to head down and help her. A chap called Doug Payne used to help him, and then mate, I think after so many years that you seem to learn things and that, and as in that bitch, Gary's Miracle, that she's been real good in that. The chap who sent him down to us, he's a friend of a bloke called Alan Williams. He sent down Fabio, and then he sent down that time striker, and he talked to his mate Shaun, and he talked Shaun into sending the bitch down, and I don't know, like I said, that when you've been around dogs 50 years, and that if you haven't learnt nothing, well, there's a major problem. And that all we've done is that we just, as in the dogs, is that we have a set routine. That I noticed that she was racing around the 29 kilo mark up in Sydney, and that she seemed a bit heavy, so we took it about 1.5 kilos off her, and then that she seemed to improve a few lengths.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Well, Michael, she's had 22 starts for you here in SA, and she's had 10 wins. Now, prior to that, she'd had the 67 starts, and total in her career, she's had 16 wins. So she's won 10 races for you. She'd won 6 races before coming to you. She's won over 500, 400, 600, 300. She's improved since coming to your kennel. So, and some greyhounds can do that, but, has she reached her peak yet, or has she still got some more improvement to come?
Well, mate, it's sort of hard to tell now. it's like very rarely that you have a dog who can have 2 starts up to 300 metres straight and win, and then come out and like win a 680 metre race. You know? That's things like that are just virtually unheard of. The last few weeks we've had a few little issues with her. She spiked a webbing in the final of the 680 metre race, and then last week she took a bad fall in the catching pen. It's hard to tell, mate, but you know, I'm not saying I was like disappointed with her last week. I'm always happy. I mean, like she just makes you so happy to like the effort she put in that. But she's first reserved for the final Thursday. We haven't entered in any other races. They will give her a fortnight off.
Yep.
But I'm hoping that when we bring her back, that she'll be back to like her best. Like that she's still on 29.78 Angle Park and all that sort of business, you know. So I think Hannah, like a few weeks off, and I think she'll come back, just as good as ever, you know.
Yeah, well, she's flying at the moment. Michael, tell us about the naming of Gary's Miracle. I know there's a story behind this because I bumped into Tamika at the racetrack, and Tamika Dunn, of course, who does a lot of work with you and your team. She was telling me the story. Tell us about the story of the naming of Gary's Miracle.
Okay. Well, as you know, that with a name like that, everybody thinks it's like that she's a dog, you know. And is that I had the dog worried 2 or 3 months, and I phoned up Shaun. I said, and excuse me, I said, Shaun, how can you like name the dog such a shit name? And he goes, oh, there's a story behind it. And he goes, when she was born, she said that she was when she come out, she she wasn't breathing or nothing like that. And he said that his mate's about 65 years old and beat around dogs and whelp litters. He said he turned her upside down and just whipped her. He goes, all of a sudden that she's come good. And that his name was Gary. So then he took her to the vet, and then the vet goes, oh look, I don't hold much hope for this dog. He should probably pass away in the next week or 2. So he hand fed her, looked after her, and she's like, and since that she did, she's survived, you know.
Yeah.
So it's, and I think his name's mate's Gary. And anyway, so just on that bloke, I phoned up Shaun. I said, with this bloke called Gary, he goes that he's got cancer. He's been really crook, and he said that the bitch. How she's doing, he goes, she should sound like another gear, you know, and like that when she won the Easter Cup, that we sent him up the like a hat and the Easter Cup like rug and that, and he said it's just made his life so good, you know, he's just so happy, you know.
So they've both been on the mend. Yeah. Amazing story, and she goes from strength to strength, and obviously the night she won the feature race at Angle Park, you guys had some white hats handing around, Gary's Miracle's name written on. I was lucky to get one, Mick.
Yeah, well, Tamika's friend, I think her name's Michelle Lavaz, I think she used to be a jockey, and then she had a fall, and now she's in a wheelchair. Well, now she's got her own thing where she prints T-shirts and hats.
Okay.
I've turned up home and she had 30 hats there to me. I said, why have you got hats? She goes, oh, we had to get them. I said to her, like that, how much is that? She goes, oh, 300. I thought, well, I thought to myself, well, that I haven't had a bet yet, so now I'm 300 down before I even go to the dog. So,
yeah.
As far as the hats go, yeah, it was really good sort of thing, you know.
And you won the feature anyway, so the 300 was loose change, Mick.
yeah. I suppose it was, yeah. Yep.
I was going to say, Mick, you've had some good dogs over the years. How does she rate with some of the best ones you've had?
Well, mate, she's just she's just so consistent, you know. I'm not saying anything new what the people don't know, but it's hard to keep them up all the time, you know. And she just keeps them giving, you know. So she would probably have to be like one of the best I've had. Just on the fact where, like I said before, like that she's won 2 300-metre races up the straight, and then she's come out and went 6. Then she's won a 680-metre race, and mate, you just don't get dogs like that. You just don't get them. So she is absolutely terrific.
Croydon Boys was a good dog for you. He won over 19 races.
Yeah, he's a good dog. Unfortunately, that you just couldn't punt him, could you? Because that he would turn up to the track and being like that. Some starts he'll just fly, and other starts he'll just say, "Oh, I know, mate." I mean, that dogs like that. It just, like he was a good dog, but it was like very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Where that Gary Miracle, like that, she busts her guts all the time, So. Yeah.
What about Time Striker? Can he do anything on Thursday night in race 7?
Well, his last start is a little bit disappointing, he seemed to miss a start, and he's just a little, he's a little bit disappointing. But is that I've had him checked over, and he seems fine in it. So to be honest, is that I haven't had as in the field, I haven't had
a good look.
a good look through the field, and that you find Thursday night. Since it's like Angle Park Thursday night prize money, well then you do strike really good fields. They seem to come out of the woodwork. Well, those heats of the Shane McQueen, I haven't seen fields like that in years and years and years. They were just like absolutely, like really good fields, weren't they?
Yeah.
Heats, and like the thing about the final. Is even from the fastest time to Gary's Miracle, I think there's only 3 or 4 lengths like that between the whole field and there.
No, you're right.
I think I think that Tony's dog went 78 and she went 30.08 Gary's Miracle. So I suppose 4 or 5 lengths between the whole field,
Yeah.
So if she does lead the run, you never know his luck,
Yeah. Well, we look forward to watching the race Thursday night. Hopefully she gets a start for your benefit there, Mick. Otherwise, we'll wait for her in about 14 days. And look, best of luck with all the training. I know yourself and Tamika do a great job. And one thing you bring to greyhound racing, Mick, is passion. And, there's been a number of times that I've been calling races and just watching you downstairs with your passion. It's something that gets people up and about. And congratulations to yourself. You do a good job.
Okay, mate, just on passion, too, I'd say something. He's that dog called Sir Puppo, and I don't hang the hat on one dog or something, but, Jennifer and Bowditch talking up and all that, and like every 6 months that, with Joe and Jennifer, they have that, they post that replay up on Facebook, and saying like, if this doesn't get you going like that, nothing will.
Yeah.
And the point I was going to make, and if you hang on for 10 seconds, this point is made that your race call is absolutely magnificent, and as in passion is that you show also a lot of passion, and then when when Gary's Miracle, that when she won the Easter Cup, my eldest brother Terry Stewart. He said he had cancer and he had a transplant, and he phoned me up and he goes, that call of yours, he said, it made him laugh and that made him burst into tears. So, mate, thank you very much for your effort too,
Yeah, not a problem, Mick. It's nice to call good greyhounds, and you're talking about Sir Puppo there. I remember the night Joe Bowditch and a few of the racing jockeys had ownership of that, and he was heavily backed that night. The boys got the money, and Sir Puppo ran some great time. It was just unfortunate that things went amiss with him after that, but he did a great job.
Yeah, that's true, mate.
Yeah.
That's so true. Unfortunately, he cracked his hop, but
yeah.
He was back from 12s to 5s, and after the race, I think it was Ryan Hurdle that he walked up and I think he had to be 300 or 400. I said, Ryan, I don't want this. He goes, no, this is what we do in our game.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, and it's a greyhound meeting, so Ryan's able to do that. So that's good stuff. Well done, Mick.
Thanks
for your time.
Boys.
Thanks, Mick.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Bye-bye.
Michael Stewart there, our guest on the Dogcast. Shaun, he does bring passion and, it can be a drizzly old Thursday night at Angle Park and he might win a maiden and he's up and about. So it certainly does create some, attraction there on the night.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he gets them to go well. He can train good dogs, as he's shown with Gary's Miracle. And as you mentioned, he's very passionate about the sport and about being involved. The Sir Puppo one was not to use the word viral on Twitter, but it was definitely showed what it's like for owners to be involved in greyhounds, seeing their dogs perform, how much they love them, and everyone loves seeing that, and that's what Mick brings to obviously that ownership group and the people involved. He does a great job. Gary's Miracle, I mean, she's been in everything as well. She's been in all the heats, all the finals of all the big races over the last few months. We've spoken about how consistent she's been. Wonderful greyhound, and as you mentioned, if she gets a run in the final, very hard to beat. If not, I'm sure she'll be heading towards the Adelaide Cup in October, and she'll be one of the big chances for SA, I'm sure.
Gee, it'd be a big party if she won the Adelaide Cup, Shaun.
My goodness, it would be, everyone will be on Mick Stewart watch, I'm sure, as to what goes on.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, that's been another edition of the Dogcast. The big night, Thursday night, the Shane McQueen. Looking forward to seeing all the action there.
Are you going to be...